Okay, we're here to discuss the Briny Maze. We're in the Far Realm now. Don't forget, this place is weird. And about just as strangely, the module says the players might go back to Phandelver. I'd be so surprised if they did. But if they did, it talks about the townsfolk becoming more and more transformed. It's a ticking clock, it's an egg timer saying, get this sorted. Dawdling doesn't help. So push the players to go to the Briny Maze, which is a massive brain shape which is actually made from dead trespassers' flesh melded into a brain shape. If you damage the brainy wall fleshy structure, it will almost instantly heal, but quite slowly, but it will always be so. It cannot be affected by magic. You cannot make the terrain shape different. They don't work. Mould earth, for example, would not work. Anytime they long rest in the Far Realm, they gain a level of exhaustion if they fail the DC 15 wisdom save. Remember that. Put it on your DM screen. There's an off-meat kind of smell, which is a reminder that they're not in the normal realm. At certain points around the Briny Maze are activation rods, metal rods sticking out of the wall, where you have to be a conductor. Maybe a chain of people, but that activation from one to the other will open 3 sets of double doors. Not all at once, different ones open different doors, or as you see fit really. But that separates the brain right down the middle. And that's how you get through, by finding the rods and chain linking them somehow. As they arrive in the brain, make it very obvious, because they don't see the map perhaps at first. You arrive and everything is fleshy pink, spongy, and for all intents and purposes, looks like a pinkish brain. A DC 15 perception, or look at their passive perception scores, which you should have in front of you on your board. They will see faint Githyanki footprints that went right from this entrance spot. In Area 2, there are 4 corpses lying on the ground. They are Durgar. They died months ago. They originally died from weapon wounds, for sure, but something has eaten its brains since. There is a cape of enlargement to be found here. In Area 2, 2 psionic Ashenrites are obscured behind thick webbing. What catches the player's eyes are 2 phase spiders. 1 psionic Ashenrite will flee. This webbing is too flimsy to slow anyone like webs normally would. Area 4, 5 slumped corpses seem to be half sucked into the wall. As they approach, 5 flame skulls will rise up. Now, to me, that says 5 fireballs, as that's their go-to damage in my games. That could be world-ending. Area 5 has lumpy brain stalagmites, and in the back of the wall there's a greatsword lodged in it. Goo trickles down from something that's been pierced to the wall, a big globule mound of flesh. If you pull this sword out of the wall, you can see that the healing starts immediately on the wall. It's a serrated silver sword with elaborate design. DC 14 Arcana or History will show you it's a legendary Githyanki sword and worth pocketing. If you touch the goo, it gives you psychic flashes. That could be backstory, info you want to retell, or any hints of the area you wish to foreshadow. In Area 6, there's music playing and shadows seem to dance to the music. Any noises that the party make also cast shadow dancers of their own. It's a DC 13 performance check to create and play with these new images you can make. But on a fail, the shadows become 1d4 wraiths. Area 7 has 3 bedrolls and a chest, notably, and also some activation rods. It's obvious that this area is used. A Githyanki knight and 2 Githyanki warriors are here. The knight is called Varaktar, and the Githyanki warriors are Kyanka and Vazi. So the lead Githyanki will say, hey, isn't that my sword? If they have it. The Gith will parley. They don't have to attack outright, and there's a bit of an info dump. Weird creature lurks these rooms. Music is heard here and there, and the activation rods open Area 13 to 14. There's a chest with teeth in, 4 emeralds equaling 900 gold each, a music box worth 1500 gold pieces, which plays music that's inaudible to dwarves. There's also a box of cutlery worth 1800 gold. Area 8 is a squalid area, but it does have a cask with a very nice gold stopper in the top. That's worth 850 gold pieces. Area 9, it's crazy character time. Shalfie Lewin, you can play him as an oddball. Go to town with it. He's an aberrant zealot and he's digging a hole furiously in the forever healing floor. Above him, his friend Jitterjaws, a flesh meld, hangs. An aura of 5 foot from Jitterjaws will make a DC 15 con save needed, or 1d6 necrotic damage and you're poisoned until your next turn. Shalfie the Nutjob will talk about a gem dragon he's seen and a mage. Shalfie plays these pipes that are worth 3,600 gold. Now, a very popular crazy character that I once played was called Nosy Pete, and basically someone who just talks furiously, will ask questions, and halfway through the PC's answers, we'll ask another one, where did you get that sword? Oh yeah? How much was it? Oh, was it made out of... And they can't get a word in edgeways. In Area 10 there's a spectator called Jomless, and he's a really slow speaker. There is a large open book on a kind of a fleshy tree stump, think of it. Truths of the Inward-Facing Mind, it's called. They might hear Jomless reading from the book when they approach, and he's just forever repronouncing things, trying to unlock something. So Truths of the Inward-Facing Mind, for example, is a sentence, you know, Truths of the he, and he just keeps sort of saying words differently. And the players are able to offer help and read it as pronounced. This will result in a blessing. The treasure here is some spectacles worth 100 gold, 2 scrolls, one's comprehend languages and one is tongues. Area 11 is behind a secret wall. Bubbles which numb you float in the air from little nodules in the walls. Bubble machine, if you will. There is a tear which is healing in the outer wall, and if they peer through, you might be able to describe one of the 3 pockets that they actually visited earlier in the module. There are 7 flumps here. They're pretty benign, but you can have them follow if you want. Area 12 is the Encephalon cluster itself. Although this monster does move around the map, so it's really up to you, but its 4 Encephalon clusters will always be in this room, dancing in slime. In Area 13, gnawed bones from the Encephalon clusters choose litter the floor, and there's a flesh door. The activation rods are either B7 or B22. If you do open these doors, you can just close them manually, but they auto-close after an hour, or whenever you decide. Area 14, Mublinesh the Beholder is on alert. Don't forget that Beholders think of every possible way that they're going to be attacked. They're paranoid. Whatever your players do, they can't get a surprise round. Also, this part of the area will allow lair actions for the Beholder. Stick around to the end as we do stats and look through all these mechanics. In this fight, Mublinesh will excitedly speak about how it's going to really impress Ilvash and get a much better lair of its own from this. It will not fight to the death. It will retreat to the next room if it gets the option. In this next room, there's a cover hanging over some sort of metal wire sculpture, which actually hums like air passing over wires does. And that hum will give disadvantage on all intelligence and wisdom checks. Make sure you enforce that. If you uncover the art piece itself, it requires a DC 16 investigation or perception. Look at your passive perceptions. Are they already 16 or above? And they will notice that if these things snap, they will whip you from the tension being released, and that would be a DC 18 wisdom save with disadvantage, don't forget, or 5d10 psychic and 5d10 thunder damage. Now maybe something happens that they cause one of these wires to snap. They might not manually go over and do it, just give it an environmental effect. Maybe if a beholder ray misses them, but on a nat 1 triggers that trap essentially. Area 16 is a jumble of furniture and junk all stacked up. This is a collection made by 2 of Ilvash's followers. If they go searching through this pile, they're all kind of useless, but you can make up gadgets and gizmos, but all broken, just detritus of metal and wood and stone, whatever. But amid the junk, they will find an upturned table which covers a very important hole with a rope leading down. This would be a real shame to miss. So I would say that just allow them to see it as part of the room's description. So whoever's got the most high perception, passive perception. Now below in here is the mage and the young gem amethyst dragon that Shalfie knew about. The mage is called Gosa and the dragon is Lowenizzle. They actually came here by accident via a bad plane shift spell. They hate it down here, they're hiding. So a fight doesn't ensue immediately on their behalf, but they will imagine that the PCs are on Ilvash's side and they're one of their followers. So we'll be defensive, you know, weapons up at the ready. But if they manage to have a chat and the chat turns to like activation rods, they will say the activation rods obviously cause something to move above, but the dragon thinks it's a door opening, which it is, and Gosa thinks it's some kind of alarm or notification. So this brain part is only kind of one half of the location. That's what Gosa will say. He'll say, I can detect there's much more to this place. And that area is known as the Endless Void. And he's right, because we will eventually get to a 6 mile deep liquid area where Ilvash is. Gosa will say that 2 of Ilvash's followers gather junk ahead. Obviously, you've seen that. You've just came down. Mind flayers and prisoners were heard to come through recently, and the players might tell him that Shalfi is successfully digging down from above, and you can have that actually occur if they take a long time here. This is a good place to rest, although remember the original start of this episode was about long resting can cause exhaustion. Area 18 is the 2 junk collectors we've been discussing, Novashu and Graushim. They are purple of skin and have tentacle chins like mind flayers but are still humanoidish. They also can mind blast like the Nothics and mind flayers from earlier. Now here you find them tinkering with some odd bit of scrap, whatever you can decide. There is a chest which has like tools in for such jobs, stripping wires down, hammers, pins, whatever. Area 19 is a psychic library. There are 3 mind flayers dead on the floor, the scenes of a fight as if they've fought each other. But on investigation, you'll see that the mind flayers were actually killed by weapons, not their psychic mind attacks. But there's no weapons to be found, so there's a bit of an investigation here of DC 14 to find the fakery. The psychic crystals can be read, but they will give Feeble Mind if you fail on the save, which is DC 18. And I think Feeble Mind lasts about 8 hours, so that's pretty bad. Area 20, there's scar tissue on the wall where someone has cut through and it's healed badly. The players wouldn't know anything else, even though the DM gets told, so it's relevant. Area 21, there are obviously 2 rods very far apart, 20 feet apart, and there's an Arcanoloth sat at a desk. She surrenders. I'm no danger to anyone. Now what she does is casts mind blank on herself, so any insight check or mind reading to see her true nature, she's wiped her mind. She doesn't remember why she's here. What she does want is help with the rods, and with a long chain of party and her, you can open one of the double doors. She senses there's more Briny Maze, as we just discussed from Gosa. It's all foreshadowing. Now she might be able to paint a psychic picture of the rest of the map. You can show all the map if you haven't already. And you can say there's this and this and this in all these different areas through her voice. Or maybe the players can tell her, oh well, did you know there's this up here? Did you know this, that we've met these people underneath? Whatever they want to say. In her desk is a mind blasting cap allowing one of the players to do Mind Blast too. Area 22 then, an enormous pool, very wide, 6 miles deep. 6 miles. You can breathe in this water like amniotic fluid in the womb. Flesh pieces float in it, even half sunk all the way around, massive mounds of weird, half-eaten whatevers. So when you get in the water, your mind connects with this alien presence, maybe even seeing an image out of its eyes as it swims about 50 feet through these bits of flesh debris. So they know there's something lurking, and all they know is, whatever it is, it's hungry. The only real answer from this point is to swim further down. The book requires DC 14, athletics or stealth. I would say do a group check 6 times for the 6 miles deep. If the group fail more than they succeed, the book says you could bump into a bit of flesh that you kind of dress up as the monster. Something swims past you and it's right on you. No, it's just a bit of flesh. It's a jump scare. Or you can say that they swim through something disgusting like pools of blood, and you're just meant to unnerve them that something is swimming. Think the film Jaws, come on. However, should they fail a lot, or you decide, okay, purple worm time, damn, it will swim, swallow, and swim on and carry a character off in its stomach. This is a terrifying monster, but it only stays 2 rounds before giving them some respite. Remember that. Right at the bottom is kind of hairy seaweed, and that is what you need to touch to be teleported to the endless void. It's stats time! Starting off with the phase spiders. AC 13, hit points 55 at full. They don't speak a language. Their ethereal jaunt won't work because they're not in either of those realms. Obviously can climb on the ceilings or whatever. Its bite attack is +4. It'll do a D10 +2, and then a DC 11 save, or you'll take 48 poison. Psionic Ashen Rites we've done before. AC 16, 78 average. Resists necrotic, poison and psychic damage. 2 necrotic shard attacks. The necrotic charge is +7 each one. 7 average damage +9 necrotic damage. That target will have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn. Psionic Crown wreathes a crown of jagged spectral crystals around the head of a creature it can see. DC 14 wisdom save, or you're charmed. Your thoughts are sluggish, you can't take reactions, speed is halved, 9 average psychic damage every turn, and its psionics is mage hand, calm emotions, maybe. 5 flame skulls. Fireball, fireball, fireball. AC 13, 40 average, health, flies around the room, immune cold, immune fire, immune poison. Advantage on saves against magic, +5 to any attacks. Flame Skull uses fire ray twice, 3d6 fire damage. Did I mention fireball? Blur's pretty good. Magic missile upcast to 3rd level, but there's 5 of them all doing that. To one guy, nice. A Wraith is AC 13, the average is 67, again they hover. Resistance to anything that's not silvered, immune to necrotic and poison, moves through other creatures and objects, so it can dip it out of the walls if it wants. +6 on a life drain, 48 necrotic damage, make a DC 14 con save or your hit point max is reduced. This is a bad time to have your hit point max reduced, but do it. The Githyanki Knight, AC 18, hit points average 91. Telekinesis, great spell. Take the weapons out of the player's hands from afar. +9 on 2 greatsword attacks. Average 13 slashing and then 10 psychic. Gith Warrior is AC 17, 49 average. Health. Misty Step, I suppose, is good. +4 to attack, doing 9 average slashing, +7 psychic. The reason I'm doing the averages of health and damage is because they've come far enough. There's enough fights here, but by all means, do full. If like me, you like to make fights last so that you get a cool moment from the bad guys. But fighting endless of the same monster, just like get it over with. Hack and slash, they want to feel like heroes, don't forget that. It's about them, not really the enemy. So Shalfi, the Aberrant Zealot. 16 AC, 93 health, resists psychic. Any non-aberration creature starting next to the Zealot has to do a DC 15 wisdom save or takes just another 7 average psychic. So it makes 1 psychic rend and then 2 short sword attacks. The psychic rend +7, 14 average psychic, DC 15 wisdom save or stunned. Do that. +7 to hit with a short sword and then 7 piercing +7 psychic. Jabberjaws, Jitterjaws, Jitterjaws. Flesh Meld, AC 12, 95 average health. At the start of its turn, if you're next to it, DC 15 save or 3 necrotic and you're poisoned. So, disadvantage. Advantage against magic. Climbs wherever it wants. 2 bite attacks, +8, which is... The reach is 30 feet on a bite. Its head goes... +8, 16 piercing, and grappled, pull towards the flesh meld. Bonus action, consume creature. I'm grappling you, it makes a DC, you need to make a DC 16 dex save or you're swallowed by the flesh meld. You'll take 10 necrotic at the start of every turn, and you know, you can do enough damage to get the body out of the flesh meld, but that's pretty cool. However, it's not wanting you to fight him and Shalfi, really. But see what happens. The Spectator then, AC 14, 39 health, can do a Confusion Ray, Paralysing Ray, Fear Ray, Wounding Ray. If the Spectator makes a successful save against a spell, it bounces back at the caster or another player. That's kind of their jam, so do it. You know, that's what makes them unique from other things. Blessing of the Solipsistic Mind. You can take an action to focus your inner mind. It lasts an hour, can't take reactions. When you make an intelligence or wisdom check or saving throws, roll a d8 and add the number rolled to the ability or saving throw. because this is going to counteract the thing that gave disadvantage. Can't remember what it was right now. All these effects and things you have to remember. Write it on your board. Comprehend language scroll just means you can understand languages, but you can't decipher cryptic codes and stuff. So that's like understanding the written things, whereas tongues is understanding spoken language. Flumps, AC 12, only 7 average health. Vulnerable to psychic damage. Why are they here? Plus 4 to attacks on tendrils, 4 piercing, plus 2 acid. Make a DC 10 con save and 2 acid damage every turn. Stench spray. Each creature in a 15-foot cone succeeds on a DC 10 dex save, or you're coated in a foul-smelling liquid. You stink. An encephalon cluster, AC 13. Slow speed at 20 feet. 110 average damage. Can't be blinded. It can succeed on failed saves 3 times a day. It has advantage on saves anyway against magic. Makes 2 slam attacks. Plus 10. 17 bludgeoning plus 10 psychic. So you must succeed on a DC 18 strength save or you're knocked prone. Can swap out 1 slam for a spawn progeny. Spews out mature eggs. Which are those? Encephalon G-mules. Reactions. After being attacked, moves towards you, makes another slam attack against you. The G-mules are AC 14, 54 average health, quite fast at 40 foot speed. Advantage against magic. Psychic Slam is a plus 6 and 16 psychic. Bonus action. Forces a DC 14 dex save and will enter your space and attach to you. 7 piercing at the start of each turn like a leech. Beholder. All beholders are unique. Make this twisted by a far realm. So probably has its dangling chin tentacles. Make it yours. Invent your own beholder. But AC 18, 180 average. Arguments will ensue of the anti-magic cone from its main eye. At the start of its turn, decide whether it has its anti-magic cone turned on or off. This stops the beholder itself casting spells into that zone. You could always say it closes its eye on its go, and if it's turn it opens its eye, a bit of a get out of jail free, but it also tells the players whether it's on or off. So lock down your spellcaster in the party by ending the beholder's turn looking exactly at that one. It can't cast spells while in that zone. Its bite, if it should do get one, is plus 5 and 14 piercing. Okay, it's eye raise, charm, paralyze, fear, slowing, enervation, telekinetic, sleep, petrification, disintegration, death ray. Now, you can pre-roll a d10 and just put a list of numbers, and those are what they cast in order. All you need to do is decide where you would cast them at the time of play. But then you're not just rolling to see and looking and reading. It's like, I know what I'm casting. I'm casting Death Ray, then Disintegrate the next 2 turns, the next 2 goes, because the beholder shoots 3 rays in a go. So there's the legendary actions between the players go. There's 3 times when you can just fire off an eye ray. There's also the lair actions. On initiative 20, make sure you put lair action. Ground becomes slimy. Walls shout out grasping appendages. DC 15 or you're grappled. An eye just opens up on a solid wall and fires off a eye ray. That's a lot of eye rays, but it's cool. Lower Nizzle as well. I've never actually run a young gem dragon, or any gem dragon. AC 18, 168 health, moves at 40, or flies at 80. Resistant to force damage. Never seen that in my life before. Makes a bite attack, plus 9. 16 piercing, plus 4 force. Then makes a claw attack, plus 9. 9 slashing. The Singularity Breath creates a bead of gravitational force, which then explodes. DC 17 strength save or 36 force damage, and your speed is 0. It can cast the following spells: Dispel Magic, Haste, Protection from Evil, and Good. Sending. Haste. Haste, that's what it does. Bonus action, I transform into another creature. No, don't bother. Mage, AC 15 I would say, with already mage armour. 40 average health. Working your way back, possibly. Cone of Cold, Ice Storm, Fireball, Counterspell. But there shouldn't be a fight there. That's not the idea of it. The Arcanoloth, 17 AC, 104 health. Invisibility, Magic Missile. Oh, Mind Blank, Finger of Death, Chain Lightning, Banishment. Get some of them sprung out if you can. If a fight occurs. Claws are plus 7. 8 slashing, DC 14 con save or another 10 poison damage, and it can teleport here, there and everywhere. Ending on a purple worm. Cool. Now remember, this is a purple worm that's limited to 2 rounds and it's only really trying to swallow you and carry you off. How does it swallow? Makes a bite attack, 22 piercing damage, DC 19 or you're swallowed, and then in the stomach you take 21 acid damage every turn, and it swims 50 feet away and comes back and yeah, see how many people you can swallow. Try not to wipe the party out right at the end. Just give them that big nasty damage. It's more of a scenario than a fight. Make it scary but not death. Unless you know that one person dying can get brought back to life. And then get them down to the bottom, touch the hairy transporter. Boom! We're further into the end game. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to click the like button. Goodbye.